I would like to apologize for my appearance. And I don't even know if apologizing is the right word because I shouldn't have to apologize for it. I have just slightly let myself go where I look like a homeless poet. I look this way because I don't have a barber right now. Long story. But I have been in the house since March 13th, 2020. March 13th was the day the news came on and said some guy went to Wuhan, China, had sex with a bat. The bat, he either ate the bat and the bat gave him herpes, or he had sex with the bat and the bat gave him herpes, because then there became this illness. People got sick. Maybe you had the symptoms, maybe you didn't have the symptoms. They only flare up at a certain time. There's a lot of moving pieces. You don't know if you got it. Maybe you do. It's herpes. It flares up. It affects some people. It doesn't affect some people. You can have sex with somebody that has herpes and they won't give it to you. You're lucky. You have sex with somebody that give you herpes, you're doomed. It's one or the other. Or you can have sex with somebody that has herpes and nothing happens to them, and then you get it. You're doomed. So I've been in the house and I've had time to watch the news. I've had time to watch Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and MySpace and all of these places. And they're talking about how they have a vaccine and people are going to be able to go out into the world again. And I got to tell you, after watching the Capitol get stormed, George Floyd getting killed, all the protests, all the nastiness, all the racism, all the black people getting killed, all the people being killed in general, I don't know if I want to go back outside into the world. I'm safe and comfortable in my home. I don't know if I really want to go. So let me start from the beginning. Before the pandemic, I was working on material about going to therapy because I had gone to therapy with an ex-girlfriend. We went to group therapy because we Groupon that shit. And then we found out we probably should get the fuck away from each other. More so, we should probably just get the fuck away from each other. So then I went on this whole crusade to like write and talk about my experiences. And then I went on my buddy Ryan Sickler's podcast called The Honeydew, which he did on Tom Segura's Your Mama House network. I've never been on. But I was on Honeydew. And I decided to go on and be vulnerable and tell my stories about being molested and not trusting women and all my things I did that turned out to be like toxic behavior, which at the time I didn't think it was because I was just trying to do things that make me feel safe. And then it turns out, in the process of you trying to be safe, you were hurting other people. Didn't know it. Now I know it, learning, talking about it, opened myself up. And then I was like, I want to write a book. I had been wanting to write a book for a while, but I didn't know what I wanted to write about. And I was like, everybody writes a fucking book. But when the pandemic happened, depression started to sit in and stress and not working and not being able to do comedy because all I fucking did. Then I realized, oh my God, I rely on comedy to put food in my mouth, which is a mistake because I'm relying on people who may or may not like me because of my color, because of my hair, because of what I talk about, and they may not want to book me. They may want to book somebody lighter, hair cut a little shorter, different features to perform at their comedy clubs, and they'll push them and build them up. So bad. It's bad. It's like Bitcoin. I'm really investing in something that I don't even know nothing about, and I really counted on people liking me and just saying he's funny and talented. We should give him work, and that's not how you get work. So I decided to write a blog. I called the blog E.A.T, which stands for Emotionally Available Today. And the whole premise behind this blog was for me to write stories about things that I've been through just to help other people, other men who don't feel like they can talk about the things that they want to talk about because we're men and we're not supposed to have feelings. We're not supposed to be vulnerable. We're not supposed to be caring. We're not supposed to be loving unless we're trying to have sex. And that's not the image that I want. That's not the image I want all men to live under. So I started writing the blog. May 13th, day of my birthday, I released my first blog. And I did one every week because I thought I could write a blog every week, and then the shit became stressful because I wanted to write good blogs every week, and I don't think you can write a good blog every week, just like you can't write good television shows every week, but yet you think you do. So I'm writing the blog, put the blog out. Then I'm battling with, do I want to stay in LA? Because I live in California. I put the blog out because the blog was like supposed to be supplemental income to make up for me not being able to travel and go do shows and auditions for TV and movies and all this other shit that I thought I really wanted. But then as I'm sitting in this pandemic, I'm asking myself, do I really want to do this? Is it really as important as we think it is? Art is one thing. Hollywood is not art. Jesus Christ. Hollywood is not art. Hollywood is money, but not art. You can have somebody jerk you off and tell you it's art, but it's not. This is going to get me in trouble in 10 years. Council coach and be like, and he did the jerk off motion, which indicated that he had a penis. We don't like to acknowledge the fact that people have penis. Or something like that. I'm not being rude or obtuse. I'm just stating the fact that by the time in 100 years, you won't be allowed to refer to yourself as nothing except molecules. So I put the blog out, and I put at the bottom of the blog, if you want to donate to the blog, but the money goes to pay for my therapy because I found a therapist during the pandemic. Because I wanted to write the book about the molestation and the trauma and the dealings and the frustrations and depression that black men go through that they can't talk about because black men don't get depressed. That's what they tell us. Black men don't get depressed. I've had too many people, even people I've created life with, tell me, you're not depressed. You need God. God made therapists. It's a loophole. I know, it's crazy. God made therapists for you to go talk to when God is busy. If that's how you need to fix it to make it work in your mind. So I'm writing the blog. Then I want to do a podcast for the blog. These are my ideas. I just want to do a podcast for the blog. I want to do the blog, these little videos for the blog. I just want to be able to write this shit, do what I want to do, and make money off of it. But I'm not trying to be rich. I'm not trying to be famous on your billboards. And when you go to your ATM, you got to look at my fucking smug face, tell you to put your card in to do business with this bank. I don't want to fucking be on the side of a sneaker or no shit like that. I don't want to be. That's pointless shit. That's ego. You want to be on a shoe? That's ego. You want to be on a billboard to let people know that you wear underwear? Ego. Ego, 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 ego. So, I'm learning how to be a better writer. I got motivated by Walter Mosley, who has a masterclass. I have a masterclass, right? Also, the tips that I get from the blog and the podcast, they go to me to pay for the masterclass where I watch these classes that teach you how to be a better writer, better creator. They have everybody on there. Walter Mosley's on there. I love his class. Aaron Sorkin's on there. I love his class. David Sedaris. Oh, God. I love David Sedaris' class. Judy Blume has a fucking great... Judy Blume's class is amazing. Carol Joyce Oates. Margaret Atwood. Spike Lee has one on there. Samuel Jackson has one. Like, I watch it, right? But Walter Mosley has one. Then I got even more inspired because Walter Mosley came out with this book called Awkward Black Man. So... I want to read these stories about black men who have awkward encounters that are not stereotypically what a black man would do. Also, I want to learn how to be a better writer. And I'm reading Color Purple by Alice Walker because I've seen the movie. I tried to read the book in high school and I didn't understand it because I had not lived. You got to live to understand some shit. Like, you can read something, but until you experience something that makes you say, oh, I know what this is, then you haven't, what's the point of reading it, right? So now I'm reading it because I understand it. And I'm from the South and I get it. But Alice Walker is also amazing. The book is amazing. So I'm reading that. And then, I can slow down on my blogs because I wasn't inspired. And then I started doing things to search for inspiration. Like, I'm looking for inspiration, and I know that inspiration isn't under this book, but for the sake of comedy and YouTube and videos and likes and whatever, I do little things like this. Little things like, ooh, is there something under here that could inspire me to write the book that I'm trying to write? No, but it is an easy way for me to introduce the fact that I am a fan of this book called Irredeemable, written by Mark Waid, about a Superman who wakes up one morning and says, fuck that shit, I'm stronger than everybody, I'm killing everything. Kind of like that, but better. I looked under the book knowing damn well there's nothing under the book, but I did it for comedic value. I hope it worked. But I read comic books. I worked at a comic book store called Acme Comic Books in Greensboro, North Carolina. They used to give me a discount. My buddy at work there used to give me a nice discount. Now he's like turned into a company man. So now it's like I get offerings, shillings. And right now I'm reading Captain America, written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I'm reading Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky. I'm reading anything Jeff Lemire does while I'm reading Black Hammer stuff. I'm reading Donny Cates' Thor and his Venom. God, it's so good. Daredevil and Venom and Thor are amazing right now. If you read Marvel and Jonathan Hickman, even though I'm not following it, but what I've read of what he's doing on X-Men, amazing. And Al Ewing, what he's doing with Immortal Hulk, amazing. DC is trash. DC must stand for dying comics because there's nothing over there worth nothing worth reading. Anyway, I'm doing the blog. I'm a little torn between, can I do this every week? I don't know. I've done things in the past. There's a meme. If you go Google guy talking to a brick wall, that's me. I shot that video in 2010 with my buddy Adam Tillman Young, and we just threw it online of me talking to a brick wall because that's what I wanted to do. And then it didn't catch on, so I abandoned it just like everybody else who does something. If it doesn't hit immediately because you're trying to make fame, you give up. And I gave up. Now it's a meme. If I could get a penny for every time I saw that meme, I would not have to do nothing. So I'm in my apartment. I have chores and things that I'm trying to do that I want to be, I want to be a little more productive. This is going to be a journey of me getting disciplined and working and building and doing, weird things to search for inspiration. So you must understand how bored I am and how much I'm trying to distract myself if I'm fucking setting up a camera to show me playing with a fucking lightsaber that I got from George Lucas Films or something, because I'm a Star Wars fucking head, but I have so many issues with the latest movies, and I don't have it in me to be one of those people that start a fucking fan page and shit. Like, I'm doing all of this to explain to people that I'm trying to write a book. And I have to take people on a fucking journey. It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. I love Star Wars so much that every now and then I'll just be like, I got the Force in me. Does it work? Like, I'll try to move something with my hands or whatever. God's not going to give me that power. God is not going to give me that power because I can't promise you that as soon as I figure out how to move something, crush something without touching it, I got a list of 20 people right now that I would just go to the neighborhood and just crush their fucking skulls. I'm owning it, but I'm also putting it in a sense of he doesn't have any powers, so he can't do that. But if I did, all this for inspiration. Look, I love Star Wars and I love spacesuits. I think Interstellar is one of my favorite. Interstellar is one of my favorite. Christopher Nolan is a fucking genius. I don't care if I didn't understand Memento or Tenet. Christopher Nolan is a genius. Christopher Nolan is like Elon Musk of movie making. He's a genius. Interstellar is an incredible movie. If you've never seen it, see it. Dad, daughter dynamic, space. I love space because I'm always trying to leave Earth. Time travel, the black hole. The movie's amazing. And it's Matthew McConaughey crying before everybody found out how he really thought. Michael Caine in it. Amazing. The movie is amazing. The movie is amazing. I can watch it all in the movie. Get me. I almost cried in Interstellar when he's like, "Don't go, Murph. Murph, don't go." I'm watching Interstellar for inspiration also, but Star Wars is also inspiration. I love Star Wars. So we can get it out of the way. Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie. No. Empire Strikes Back, Rogue One, Return of the Jedi, A New Hope. Nothing else happened. Nothing happened. Not the prequels, not that shit at the end. None of that at the end. I have lightsabers. I have action figures. I have given my life to Star Wars since 1980 when Kenner was making the dolls, when they were making the toys. Don't talk to me about my loyalty to Star Wars. Those last 3 movies and Solo, god damn. Trash. Anyway, this is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to go find some inspiration, but I think this week I'm going to release a blog about my anxiety about rejoining the world because I don't know if I want to go back outside with... There's people out there. There are evil, dark, twisted people out there. Blog. E.A.T. Emotionally available today. It'll be a podcast. It'll be these little videos. I'm going to be as consistent with all 3 of these as possible. I can't do video, blog, and podcast every week, but... And I'm eating oatmeal. And if you want to donate to the blog, it'll be at the bottom of the blog or at the end of this video. All this, I set up lights and cameras, all this shit. Even as I try to escape, like, having my face out there, I still do this. Oh, I get so disgusted with myself, you know? Disgusted.